So you want to design a planner, but when you sit down in front of InDesign or even Canva, you're lost on what exactly makes a good planner design. How should you structure each page? What goes into not only making a planner look pretty, but also functional? Each of these questions and more lead to you closing out your browser and putting off your dreams of designing for another time. Well, let's talk about it now. Hey, you guys, my name is Kayla and I'm a full-time traveling graphic designer. And today we're going to be going over some of the top design techniques I always keep in mind as I'm designing projects. So the first tip to designing a planner is white space. One of the first tell signs of a bad design is if you take one look at it and your first instinct is that it's too cluttered or it just feels like you don't know what to focus on first. Don't feel the need to take up every square inch of space on your page. You want to leave a little bit of white space around the elements on your page to prevent an overwhelming experience for your users. When it comes to printables, simple is usually best. People don't want to be overloaded with a ton of information, so it's important to keep your printable simple and straightforward. Typically, a good rule of thumb is to include only the essential information in your printable. Always try to avoid cluttered and visually chaotic designs. Use clean lines. Stick to 2 to 3 different colors or less. Use 1 to 2 different complementing font pairings. And try to limit non-essential design elements like abstract art or graphics unless it's fitting for your brand. Following these simple tips, you'll be able to create a product that's both user-friendly and stylish. Next, you want to be extremely conscious of the user interface of your page. And what I mean by this is you want to make your product an enjoyable experience for your users, including things like making sure your text isn't too small to read, ensuring your prompts are easy to follow, and making sure there's enough space in between lines so that people can easily write in their information. My style of design is incredibly user-centric, so I'm always keeping in mind how the user will feel or what they'll think when they're interacting with the design. And trust me, customers will notice this. It's always refreshing to have a product that just works and doesn't leave you frustrated or annoyed. So to accomplish this, ask yourself how people will be using your planner. Will they be printing it out and using it as a physical product, or will they be accessing it digitally? If people will be printing it out, will they need to print it on standard printer paper, or will they need to use a special size? Would your audience rather have multiple prompts to guide them through their product, or would they prefer something a little bit more straightforward? This is why studying and researching your target market beforehand is so important to the success of your business. You are, at the end of the day, designing a product that is meant to be useful for them. So you'll have to be thinking about their needs, wants, and desires as you're going through the creation phase. And lastly, design what you like. For the most part, design is pretty subjective. What I might think is good design, you might not think is good design. So overall, it takes a lot of practicing on your own to figure out your own style and techniques. So originally I was going to sit down and have a video on all the 7 design principles and how you can implement these rules into your design. But if I did that, I really wouldn't be doing you any justice. The truth is, when I sat down and tried to think about my own mindset as I'm creating a project, I realized that I don't actually think about any of the design principles as I'm designing. I don't say, oh, I might need a little contrast here or some movement there. I simply just design what I think looks good. And a lot of times this means designing something, not really liking it, and then redesigning it over again until I do like it. So design what you think looks good, and if you don't know what looks good, make it a habit to browse through the planner section of Target or search through Pinterest or Google for planners and take note of the style that you like. Do you gravitate towards more flowy script fonts or simple, straightforward black and white pages or more bold, colorful designs? Whatever you like looking at, take those concepts and transfer it over to your own style as you're designing. Alrighty, you guys, those are my quick design tips on creating a planner that sells. A quick recap is typically simple is best. Keep your user in mind as you're formatting your planner layouts and design what you like. If you keep those things in mind, you're well on your way to being a top designer. And also, if you'd like to learn more about how to actually sell your planners online, feel free to check out our free ebook down below where we'll go over how to take the planners you design and turn them into passive income. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you stay a while. Until next time.